and5k.com. And historic Street, New Falls. Open 7 days a week with varied house interpretations, special interest tours, and weekly events and programs. Huguenotstreet.org for new memberships.
I can't move it.
It's probably good enough.
Yeah.
This is Northeast Public Radio, WAMC FM HD 90.3 Albany,
to their advantage
HD 90.3 Benson, Utica, WAMC
give them
HD
the upgrade.
90.9 Kingston, WOSR HD 91.7 Middletown, WCEL HD 91.9 Plattsburgh, WCAN HD 93.3 Canada Harry, WANC HD 103.9 Tidewater, WAMQ HD 105.13 Barrington, WWES HD 88.9 Mount Kisco, WANZ HD 90.1 Stanford, WANR 88.5 Brewster, and WAMC AM 600 Albany.
From WHYY in Philadelphia, this is Fresh Air. I'm David Bean Cooley in for David Gross. As the Ken Burns PBS series The Roosevelts nears its conclusion, we look at how President Franklin Roosevelt's polio affected his life and his political career. We feature our interview with historian James Tobin, author of The Man He Became. It's widely assumed today that President Roosevelt tried to cover up that he had polio.
He did.
But Tobin says not only did the public know, but FDR's disability helped him overcome a political disadvantage.
Roosevelt had always been seen as kind of a Harvard boy. He had grown up in privileged circumstances. He had to overcome that, and polio
He was
helped
always
him
shown
do so. Now he gave people something that they really admired. This guy has really been through the mill.
Also, film critic David Edelstein reviews A Walk Among the Tombstones, based on the Lawrence Block novel and starring Liam Neeson. First, the news.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear. Speaking publicly for the first time in more than a week, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said he and the league made mistakes in the way they handled a series of domestic violence cases against players. There's Nathan Block reports Goodell says those mistakes started with him.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell started his press conference by saying that over the past several weeks, there's been far too much of the NFL doing wrong. He said that included him and the way he handled the domestic violence case against former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice. I got it right on a number of levels. The that I learned, the decision that I reached. But now I will get it right and do whatever is necessary to accomplish that. Goodell says that everyone in the NFL will go through training to help reduce domestic violence, and that the NFL will provide resources to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Nathan Rhodes, NPR News.
The nation's Security Council has added its voice to the long list of those condemning a group known as the Islamic State. The militant group, which has taken credit for the beheadings of 2 Americans and a British aid worker who gained major ground in both Iraq and Syria. The Security Council, with a meeting chaired by Secretary of State John Kerry, also urging the international community to expand support for the Iraqi government in its efforts to battle the militants. President Obama has now said U.S. airstrikes already underway in Iraq will be expanded to Syria. Wasting little time, the president signed the temporary spending bill Congress just finished work on Thursday. NPR's Cameron Keith explained that measure also authorizes the U.S. to train and equip Syrian rebels.
The measure will keep the federal government funded and open for business through December 11th. It includes new money to deal with the Ebola epidemic in West Africa. And it gives Obama the authority he asked for to have the U.S. military begin training moderate Syrian rebels to combat the extremist group calling itself the Islamic State, or ISIS. But when this temporary budget bill expires in December, so does the authority to arm and train the rebels. That means Congress will get to revisit the matter when it returns after the elections in November. Many members of Congress argue there should be a larger debate, not just about working with the rebels, but also about the airstrikes and the president's strategy for dealing with ISIS more broadly. Tamara Keith, NPR News, the White House.
Businesses and investors appear to have reacted to some extent with relief as news voters in Scotland have made the decision to stay with the United Kingdom. Roughly 55% of those casting ballots in yesterday's closely watched race opted not to sever ties with the UK dating back more than 300 years. Many polls have predicted a more narrow margin, where the stocks responded positively to the fact signals for business as usual were received from the vote. Here in the U.S., Wall Street had a mixed close at the end.